One more thing I want. Right? The town council president is supposed to go over this and update it and sign it. It's the wellhead protection plan for our wellhead, 3,000 foot diameter around the wells. I updated it all crazy last year. It should be, the only thing change on it might be some firemen's names, but you have to be able to copy of them for your name. I'll toss this to you. Move it over and just make any changes you need to. You said about Mr. Christie at Indianapolis. I did. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say about it, Larry?
No, that's just, when you get through that, I'd like to have that copy back. And, any updates should just be very simple, like fireman's names. But it's just that day, you gotta send it to Mr. Christian and I do every year.
Fire update?
Yeah,
You had to leave. Old business, go read more.
Hi.
Farmers market.
Farmers market.
The farmers market again this year, our first day is gonna be April 23rd, gonna be Tuesday afternoons. Market will be open from 3 to 6, we'll probably start setting up about an hour before. So it'll be every Tuesday from April 23rd through October 8th or 15th, depending on how the weather goes. So I'm formally asking you to use the park for that time frame.
it should fall, because Lazy Days is, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, we've always missed all of the other festivals and things,
Same as
and
last
never
year.
been any problems, so.
Everybody has, we're gonna be getting more and more interested in
We
it.
had a meeting this afternoon, and we have 8 to 10 people who are really setting up this year.
I'll make a motion that we allow her to use the park for the farmer's market.
Second that. All in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna make a motion that we repeal the ordinance of the utility clerk.
Second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You say aye. That's it. Okay. So carried.
So what does that mean?
Well, we're getting to that.
Okay.
Now, it's your turn.
Name change for utility clerk. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to make you deputy clerk.
Only if you guys remain my bosses.
And we're gonna have to cut you down to 3 days.
Okay. Make your name change.
No.
No, let's back up, okay? So we're clear here. If we don't have a utility clerk, all right, then you as a town council do not have any authority, I don't believe, to mandate what the work schedule is, because the utility clerk, if she is under the guise of the town clerk, he will make that determination.
I kind of have a question. I mean, I like the fact that there's somebody there when I need to pay my bill. And if she's not there, then, and he's out doing something, then that's really inconveniencing the whole community. There should be a clerk there all the
The
time.
problem is we don't have the money.
Yeah. It's a
I
money.
went over the budget trying to figure this out.
Where'd the money go? Where'd it go?
Was it budgeted? To the water rate.
No,
But they
it
can
wasn't.
kill it.
Towards the end of 2023, what it says we have in the bank, based on the state's accounts. This is something that we file, this is all public papers here. I don't know where that money's gone.
huge amount of money to pay.
What's that figure at?
This is right off the internet, Google.
I believe that people are really liking the use of the card reader up there too, pay their bill, and that will be the first thing to go.
Deputy clerk, we done.
Reports, it's been that very,
If you guys
Yeah,
would,
that's correct.
if you're gonna make a difference, if you guys would go 4 days a week, I would take a day, I would pay the fourth, the fifth day out of what's budgeted for me. And, but I'm not sure we may have to get a resolution stating that, we're not amending, I guess we would be amending the salary ordinance. And do it on a 90-day basis. I mean, within 90 days, we're gonna know if it's gonna work or not. I mean, I would keep her as a full-time if she was a deputy clerk, just because of the fact it is convenient for the people. Might change the hours, and if she was willing to go with a half-hour lunch, why have her come in at 8 o'clock instead of 7:30? But there's gonna be some state laws that are coming up into effect in the next probably 4 to 6 months that's gonna require different things, and one of them will be, doing meetings, recording them and stuff. And that's gonna be another 3 or 4 hours, maybe a week, or when we have meetings and stuff. So, and I'm sure there's other things that she could do to keep her busy for at least the next 90 days.
I'm sorry, but I got a question. Wasn't her like pay budgeted in with the water bill? Has it been
You're
stated?
kind of right there. It is budgeted, but there was a shortfall in the budget that was approved by, and they didn't really approve the budget, but the numbers that came through Baker Tilly, I think if you look there, you're gonna find that they had $74,000, and the salary ordinance was budgeted for $84,000. So there's a $10,000 shortfall there somewhere. And I'm willing to give up a day a week if you guys will at least keep her on full time. And according to Terry, if you make her deputy clerk, it would be up to me to decide, but you people still have to come up with the money to pay her. Is that right, Terry?
Why does my title have to change to that? Why does it have to be that?
Why does what?
Why does it have to be deputy clerk? Can someone answer that for me?
That's the general title that small towns give their part-time help in most cases.
That way you can also take money out of different funds too, right?
Well,
Mayor?
deputy clerk, it could be, if you see in September, you got extra money that's not gonna be used in the general fund, you could amend it, but trust me, I don't think it's gonna happen, because at this point, with the audit that was just done, and they've already got their money from the county, we're at about, probably 68% of our budget for the general fund left for the next 9 months. We've spent close to 32% of our budgeted funds for the general fund. After the bills tonight, that includes the bills that was on there for the month.
So who would I answer to?
I guess before, we have no utility contract, then we also do not have a process to send out billings and deal with the utilities right now, unless Mr. Hall agrees that he's going to resume those billings and those things which he is not mandated by state law to do. So I guess the question I'm asking moving forward is, are we then going to go ahead and shift responsibility to do billings and such things back over to the town clerk? And is he willing then to assume those duties? At this point in time, I will have to draft an ordinance transferring those powers over to him. If he's willing to
Who
do that.
enforces the ordinances, right?
Yes, we don't.
We just repealed the ordinance setting up as a separate legal entity, the utility clerk, okay? So we have,
For how many years has the treasury here in Gosport put the bills out?
for as long,
Forever.
for as long as I've been here, but one of the questions here was,
But he could hire help, you know, and she could
He's
work.
got her, that's her.
I don't care who works, but when they need it, she could hire help.
we have to transfer over to the clerk, back to the clerk. We rescinded his power. The last town board rescinded his authority to continue to pay the bills. They published an order saying he no longer has that power. So now we have to give the power back to him if he's willing to do it, which he is not obligated to do it by state law.
But if she takes the deputy clerk position, can she do it?
Well, she could, but if she takes a deputy clerk's position, then she's under his authority, and he has no authority to deal with the billings right now until those are transferred back over to him, and he in turn then has her do that. So essentially right now, by doing what you've done, we have nobody at this juncture to process payments or to send out billings or do anything else.
But for the good point, we don't need anybody right now. They're printed and she's got them ready. They're ready to go out the door.
That's fine, then you've got whatever grace period between now and the time the next one's come up to figure it out. So back to my original question. Are you willing as town clerk to take the responsibility for doing those billings that are not required of you to do by state law at this time?
Sure.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
as long as I've got help.
Okay. Then what I will have to do is to go ahead and do another ordinance, transferring that power back over to you so that you can
You
submit
lost all
those
power.
billings
Your
and
power is
do
gone.
whatever's necessary for the water utility under, with them.
I have them, can I, so will we still be able to use our debit cards there to pay the water bill? Because we couldn't before.
I can't hear it.
Sure.
Sure. Okay.
Shouldn't be any changes other than probably taking a pay cut. She'll be making the same money. She'll still be getting a few benefits as far as vacation, sick time, that stuff. She'll still be a full-time employee.
So the board no longer hires that position, you do, and you can fire her and hire whoever you want, but they don't, there's no voting.
That's the
for
way
them.
it
Okay.
works.
Terry,
Yep.
I have a question. When we vote for clerk treasurer, is that not part of their job?
It is not part of this job.
So all these years we've been without anybody to write the bills and send them out and do all that.
By statute, there are a number of enumerated powers that the town clerk has, and that is not one of them. And whenever the last town board was considering setting up a separate utility clerk, I researched the law and I did a memorandum with them about what the law provided. And there's just nothing in the law that says that he's responsible for doing that. And I'm happy to make that available to anybody in the town that wants to read what I wrote.
Oh, I believe, yeah, I just can't believe we've gone all these years.
By ordinance, you can
Not
make him
have the
responsible
authority to do it.
with his consent. Why I intend on asking a question before I draft the ordinance.
So I have a couple questions here. So if the town board asks me to do something I'm not obligated to do because they're not my boss anymore, is that right?
You're right.
Because my boss is Donnie.
Pardon me?
So my boss would be Donnie. So if the town board asks me for a report or anything, I wouldn't have to give it to them unless Donnie turns around and says, Wanda, they need this report. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Now, will Donnie be obligated to continue having someone in that position?
He is not obligated
Mm-mm.
to do anything,
Yep.
to hire any person for that position, or to do anything except what he wants to do by statute.
And what
So-
if he fails to make, keep up the quota, keep up with the bills?
Well, I mean, he did the bills for the last 6 years by himself, so the fact that,
10 years.
I started July in 2013 and ended in October 2023.
so who he hires to assist him and in what capacity as a town clerk is by law his decision. If he assumes the responsibility to do this and the ordinance is drafted and the responsibility is passed to him with the town board's consent.
So is this being a deputy clerk? Could I get a contract?
Pardon me?
Can I get a contract, a year contract?
No, deputy clerk is an at-will employee.
Donnie, if she accepts that deputy clerk, are you willing to do the bills again?
Yes, he's already said that. So, for your next meeting, I will have an ordinance drafted to restore those powers and have everything set back up in that way.
And just one final point, I've mentioned this before, is, before Wanda started, that position didn't exist for the last 10 years. And while some of the water, it did absorb as much of that salary as it could, just a reminder that, sewer and other aspects of the town's funds typically also cover that position, and I brought it up before, that your sewer funds are running very limited. Like, I think it was didn't cover its expenses last year. So and we pointed that out when we did the studies, that the funds were running low. So it's just something the town council might want to consider moving forward as well, is just sewer funds in general. We've just taken care of the drinking water. It's something to continue to look at, I think. And not also just for staffing issues, but for making sure you can run your sewer plant appropriately too, and all the maintenance costs that you've seen this year. So.
I have another question. Where did you come up with this decision? How was this decision made? How was this decision made?
I made it on my back porch the other day.
And nothing caused you to make this decision?
No, absolutely not. Okay, we've got a motion on the floor to change Wanda's title to deputy clerk.
I don't think that that's something that you now, since you've rescinded the prior ordinance, you have any authority to call her a deputy clerk. That becomes a function of the town clerk to hire her, and once he hires her, to call her a deputy clerk at that point, because we don't have any jurisdiction over it.
So what is she tomorrow?
Pardon me?
So what's her title tomorrow?
If you choose to hire her tomorrow or tonight to assist you as town clerk, then she becomes a deputy clerk. But again, this board doesn't have the power to make that determination. You're the one who has the power to make that determination. I know we're grasping at straws here, but again, the power of the utility clerk was vested in the town board. You now revoke the ordinance and put it back to the position where it was previously. So if you choose to hire her and the powers for the water corporation to go back in your hands, then you can hire her as a deputy clerk at that point in time, and she will have that title as of tomorrow or whenever you make that determination.
Will the board agree to pay her 4 days a week if I pay the 5th day?
I didn't understand.
Will the board agree to pay her for 4 days and he'll pay the 5th day?
If we can afford it, I don't know what we're
I
gonna
make a
afford.
motion that we'll pay her for 4 days. I get a second.
How many people comes in at 7 o'clock or 7:30?
We're changing the hours.
Okay.
Can I get a second?
It's fine with me,
All in favor?
So I do have a question for Donnie, though. I do have a question for you, Donnie.
We have a motion on the floor, and then we'll go ahead and answer.
Okay.
We have a motion on the floor for 4 days.
And Donnie said he'd pay her for the 5th day. And I said, all in favor? Ernie said aye. I said aye.
Okay,
Mark said aye.
further questions?
Donnie, you do not plan on firing me, right?
Say again.
You don't plan on firing me, right?
No, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, you're hard to night.
Can I at least get 401k? At least.
Pardon?
401k, at least. At least give me 401k. My insurance was taken away, my raise was taken away. At least 401k. Can, I mean, because that's something I asked the board too a while back ago. Is it possible to do that?
I know Jill brought up the sewer funds, and just so you know, on April 11th, 2018, the town council at the time decided to refinance a $400,000 bond issue. And by doing that, there was approximately $100,000 in interest saved by cutting it down from 21 years to, they actually financed it for a 10-year payback. As of right now, we actually owe $15,000 on that $400,000. So one of the reasons the sewer utility is low on funds is the fact that they've been paying very aggressively over the past almost 66 years next month. And we have paid $66,000 a year on principal plus the interest. So once we get that $15,000 paid off, and we get the $15,000 paid to Vineman Faneuil for the lift station rehab, and we get Woods figured out, we should have $40,000 to $50,000 a year starting next year at the latest in revenues that could be put back for depreciation, whatever you want to call it,